So I hear you help out with 4-H. So
Yes.
what's your role in helping out with the 4-H program in Tippecanoe County?
Yeah. Well, so there is the check-in that takes place where they confirm in IDs with the animals. But at the state fair and also at several of the county fairs, they decided to do a health assessment or health check as those animals are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've worked with Kayla Martin fairly closely as far as that's concerned. And usually those animals come in, as they're coming in, they will determine that the appropriate or correct animals on the trailer based on the ID, the ear tag and the notches, and at the same time, I'm usually looking at those animals for indications of ongoing disease at the time that they're coming through the check-in, and so looking at things like respiratory patterns, whether they have and whether they're showing signs of diarrhea, and dirty behind that sort of thing. There are some diseases of pigs that manifest as skin conditions, and mange, things like erysipelas, bacterial disease that bacteria gets into the bloodstream, and then it shows up as what is lesions, on the skin. And so it's a you think just a cursory check of that animal. It doesn't require me to necessarily put my hands on it per se, but there's a lot that you can tell about an animal just standing off and observing it, from a distance. And if there's anything that looks like it might very well be a problem to the rest of the animals that are going to be in a barn, then the owners are usually requested to take it home.
Take it home, yeah. That's very helpful that you do that. So one question I have, so we have a pet section in our mini 4-H camp, and we're doing some things on pet health care and what to feed them. So what's a healthy diet for a dog?
So with that, the nutrition companies have people who, have vast experience formulating diets for animals at the different stages. It's one of those things where, be it Purina, be it Hills, Arms, what have these folks know what it is that they're doing.
Yeah.
It makes sense to feed them what is a brand name diet.
Okay,
and forego some of this tailor-made stuff, or unfortunately have people who think that they can slap together something in their kitchen and what have you and feed their animals, not understanding that while they certainly need protein, they certainly need carbohydrates, minerals, and all those things, it's awful hard, unless you have some understanding about nutrition, to formulate something in your kitchen that will satisfy all of that animal's requirements. And so I think that people can have confidence in what is, even the diets, even some of these diets that are not the Purinas or what have you. There is some minimum standards that if there's going to be dog food sold in the store, that whoever manufactures that dog food has to satisfy.
Okay, yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to sell it.
Yeah.
And we have a state chemist's office here on this campus that does the inspections and testing of these diets. So if it's on sale at the store, at grocery store, what have you, you can have some confidence that you can feed it to your animal. They won't lose weight or develop problems per se, because, like I said, these things they have to meet certain standards, regulations that go with formulating foods for pets.
Very cool. So how about some foods that dogs can't eat?
Oh, certainly chocolate is a biggie. Things like onions. And I don't understand the toxic principle with grapes.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Like
grapes.
But so that list can get awful long because onions will damage red blood cells. Chocolate can cause neurologic signs in dogs, as well as have affected kidneys and things like that. So that and sometimes it is possible for animals to have allergies to some products, some foods like people. So so there again, it only makes sense to for someone who owns pets to avoid giving table scraps, treats, human food is treats and those sorts of things. And one of the things that was impressed upon me years ago, as far as dogs are concerned, well, you feed them the exact same thing every day, but it's one of those things where once they get used to something, it's all right. I mean, it's all right to, that diet is not changing much. I mean, I think people are probably the only ones that need that variety, but pets don't. And so once you get them accustomed to eating something, then that's what they should be eating and avoiding, like I said, a lot of table scraps and things like that. Because that can be problematic.
Exactly. You may never know. So how about a healthy diet for a cat? Is it similar to dogs? You can trust almost any sold brand on the shelves?
Yeah, cats are a little different as far as their requirements. Cats, dogs are what we describe as omnivores. And dogs can eat, vegetable-based diet as well as meat-based, and some dog foods bring both of those together, vegetables and meat. Cats tend to require more meat, higher protein requirements and what have you. And so, again, we have these nutrition companies have been in business for a long time, and they know what they're doing, and I would have every confidence of being in. Again, there are some brands that up here, and then some that are down there, but for the most part, I think anyone that has pets to feed, that they can have confidence about going to the grocery store and being able to find a pet food that would meet that animal's requirements.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, are there some foods that cats can't eat?
I'd say cats are probably along the same lines of dogs as far as onions, certain fruits. Of course, I don't know any cats that would only eat onions. But chocolate.
Seem to be more picky than dogs.
Yeah, that they are. But yeah, along the same lines, because like I said, where some of those things will create organ damage, and especially cats. Cats at some point in time in their lives, they live long enough. Most people that own cats for years, usually they say that they had to either euthanize their animal, for welfare reasons, humane reasons, or if the animal developed a disease process and eventually died on its own. Usually it's quite often kidney disease.
Okay.
So the type of food that you feed to that animal then becomes very important, because you don't want to feed them a diet that's just constantly challenging their kidney function, and so they would kind of be right in line with dogs as far as things that they shouldn't be allowed to eat.
All right. So another question I have for you is, so can animals get sick with COVID?
So right now, to my knowledge, there's only been one case or cases of what is animals getting ill with this virus, and that was I believe it was New York Zoo that they recovered virus from some big cats. And so when I heard that didn't surprise me very much, because the predecessor to COVID-19, or at least another coronavirus that created some significant health challenges for humans was the SARS virus, which is another coronavirus, and that was associated with cats in China.
Okay.
And so with that being the case, to hear that that virus, that COVID-19 might have been able to infect some feline, what have you, didn't surprise me all that much. But with all of that, I've not heard of any instances where anyone that owns domestic house cats or what have you have had issues with their animals being infected. Now, of course, I would assume that if animals get exposed, they will recognize that virus as being foreign and try to mount an immune response. So it wouldn't surprise me if you had people in a home that had pets that had a COVID-19 positive person, that if you tested the animals, that you might very well find antibodies, even though you have no indication that the animals were ill.
They're sick.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it just indicates that they been exposed, which would make sense. Like I said, if you have a person that's in a home that's COVID-19 positive and shedding virus, that the animals might very well get exposed and will at least be able to demonstrate an immune response.
Very good, though. That's good.
But which is a good thing. We haven't had, to my knowledge, any reports of COVID, trying to jump species and affecting domestic house pets and that sort of thing.
Yeah, very good, very good. So my last question for you is, what advice do you have for kids interested in becoming a vet?
I'd say probably, and it's one of these things where if there's the interest, they need to try to get some worthwhile experience to see what the profession is all about. And so if they own animals themselves and have a veterinarian that they have an association with, being able to volunteer some time to be able to see what it is that individual does on a daily basis would certainly be a good idea. This is a science-based curriculum, so it is one of those things where depending on your plan of study, I mean, you could very well qualify for admission to vet school or be competitive as far as applying to a med school.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, it's not one of these things where it's just animals. So the rigor and what have you is not there. That would certainly not be true. So I would say that they need to do those things that are necessary to kind of, I'd say, verify that they have that as an interest, and I think that starts with getting some experience, being prepared for an undergraduate curriculum that is, for the most part, is fairly challenging.
Science, a lot of science too,
So trying to learn as much about the profession as possible, because for one thing, veterinary medicine is a career that has multiple paths. I mean, so if you love to work on animals and interact with clients or what have you, that's all well and good. But there is more to this profession than that. There's academia. There are people who are working in the military. I mean, it is fairly broad as far as what the opportunities are.
Absolutely.
So depending on what your interest is, I mean, you can certainly pursue something that gives you a lot of satisfaction.
Yeah. With how many animals there are, we need a lot of vets to specialize in each animal, don't we? Yeah. Well, that's all I have for you, Dr. Ragland. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes.
Thank you, campers, for listening, and I hope you have a great day.